lead actress, Kansas Bowling, she had just worked with Tarantino before we shot Psycho Ape because she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So she was telling us all about working with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And so, she was telling us all about working with Tarantino and just went from Tarantino to Psycho Ape. How do you go from a $100 million movie for like Sony to just a couple of guys with a mini DV camcorder?
Yeah.
Just like, we're going to make this dumb monkey movie. Here's some money. Thanks for participating.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Maximum Zack. On today's episode, we have Addison Binek. We talked today about his movie Psycho Ape, talked about other horror movies, and we talked about a whole bunch of other stuff. Let's get into it. I think I'm gonna do a mullet cut again. I'm being serious, dude.
You should, actually.
I look so much better with a mullet, dude. I was looking at the older videos.
From, like, the first couple?
Yeah.
Are you going to do it on the show?
No,
have someone do it
not.
on the show.
That would actually be cool.
No, you should.
We should do that.
Do it on the show.
I want to do it before I do my next. Before I go do these shows in Boston. That's the only thing.
Oh wait, that's in like a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. I don't want to.
That's not gonna work.
Let me do it.
I want to look more becoming.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about being a barber, but let me do it.
We can figure it out. It's fine.
No, I mean,
let's create some content.
I have this one friend that he does his own mullet all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like there's like tutorials online about how to cut your own mullet, but like I know I'm gonna fuck it up.
I mean, isn't that the point of it,
Yeah.
though?
I mean,
Go rock a
don't know.
shitty mullet
But, like-
while you're doing stand-up.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, that's the
But
whole piece.
It's so much better when it looks dope.
Sure, well, maybe you can do, like, one shitty show, where it looks like garbage, and then fix it when you're on the road.
One of the first times I got a mullet, it was the sides. It's like they cut down the sides, but one side was completely lower than the other, and everyone kept telling me, they're like, no, it looks fine. And then when I went into a different barber, they're like, yeah, this is fucked up. like everyone's just lying to me.
Were they really genuinely just trying to be nice, or were they just stupid?
I don't know. Like,
They just don't know the difference.
I literally brought it up so many times.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, no, you're wrong. And I'm
Maybe
like,
they
"No,
were
dude."
just being nice.
Yeah, they're
then.
just
I
being
don't know.
nice, and I'm like, dude, like you're like, I'm just asking a question. You can tell
They
me.
saw how enthusiastic you were about the mullet. They didn't want to burst your bubble.
Yeah.
Send you back to the barber.
Yeah. You can literally just tell me. Dude.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no more honesty.
so, yeah, dude, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Addison. I'm an independent filmmaker from Michigan.
Hell yeah.
Longtime Jackass fan, so I'm very, very happy to have been invited to be a part of this. This is a huge honor, man. I've been making YouTube stuff since maybe like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, the golden years.
Yeah. When videos could only be like 15 minutes long, you kind of had to figure out how to chop stuff down to a certain length. Otherwise, you couldn't upload it, And so I think, that sort of teaches you how to be a pretty good editor because you figure out like, well, what do you need? What don't you need? Just to make a piece that you can upload to the internet.
Yeah.
Because I started out doing stuff. It's a show that I do called Movies to Watch on a Rainy Afternoon.
Okay.
And it's like Mystery Science Theater, riff tracks, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Where I take kind of like best of the worst clips from these really, cheesy B movies. And it's kind of like movie reviews, but I take these specific clips and I would record jokes and stuff and lay them all out and kind of have host skits kind of in between these clips and stuff. And I mean, I did that for a super long time, like 10 years to 11 years. There's 130 episodes on YouTube for free. Yeah. But these are all like cheesy B movies, stuff that people have never heard of before because I would just mine the internet looking for crazy stuff. Just the worst stuff imaginable, and just making fun of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I went to film school in 2011, and I've always wanted to make movies, and specifically cheesy B horror movies. Like I was kind of riffing on stuff that I loved anyway, and stuff that I wanted to make. Yeah. And my directing teacher at film school did not like this show. Because he was basically like, I know these people who kind of like you're roasting, I don't approve. Because if they find out that one of my students is kind of roasting their movie and I'm like okay with it or I don't say something, it's going to make me look like a bad guy. And so I kind of had to, alter the way that I wrote material and made fun of movies and stuff because it would piss people off sometimes. Just some of these jokes were particularly cruel. I just never thought I'd ever meet some of these people.
Yeah,
and eventually, I started meeting these people.
Yeah.
Because I go to horror conventions and I buy movies like specifically from these people who make these movies.
Yeah.
And I used to kind of get away with it, but then I got busted, and it's like, hey, you're that guy. You made fun of my movie a few years ago. But so I kind of decided, okay, maybe I should put my money where my mouth is. I did like 100 episodes, 130 episodes.
Yeah.
And then eventually it kind of culminated into Psycho Ape.
Yeah.
And that, was my passion project. We raised like $7,000 on Kickstarter a few years ago. Shot the whole thing on mini DV tape. Just me and my friends kind of goofing around. Me and my partner Greg, we made the movie together, just sort of throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what would stick, and just made this movie for $7,000. But over time, it's like kind of gained a really bizarre little cult following.
Yeah, definitely has.
I know. I mean, I like that you like it, man. It's awesome that you dig it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's sick, dude.
Yeah. Here's Psycho Ape.
Oh yeah.
But I go to horror cons like Cinema Wasteland, Days of the Dead, Horror Hound, and I sell copies of this. To date, I've probably sold maybe like 1,000 copies.
That's crazy.
And it's on Amazon Prime. It streams for like $1.99.
Yeah.
But over time, like I said, a lot of people have seen the movie. They seem to like it, which blows our mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of mind-boggling that, like, you like this weird, cheap, like, stupid movie? Because it is a stupid movie. It's intended to be stupid. It's the lowest budget killer gorilla movie you'll ever see.
Yeah.
But, you see his sneakers.
How many other low budget killer gorilla movies are there?
You'd be
I'm
surprised.
gonna look it up right now.
No, dude. We seriously, before writing the movie, we did our homework. And so we watched a ton of crappy gorilla movies. Like King Kong Lives, Tim Burton's The Planet of the Apes. Not a good movie. This movie starring Dom DeLuise from the 80s called Going Bananas.
Yeah.
Horrible. And so we would take notes, or mental notes, really.
Yeah.
While watching the movies. And sort of figuring out, like, okay, so this is sort of what the formula is for, like, these crappy ape films. And we kind of just built our own. We designed our own based on all just research.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there aren't, not to my knowledge, there aren't any other killer gorilla movies where he goes around murdering people with bananas. That's a first. That's we've got to have that cornered. I don't think anybody else has done that. And you see like the strings on the back of the costume. You see his sneakers when he runs around. We only had the one costume too. So as we were filming the movie, I mean, patches of fur would fall off. It was deteriorating in real time as we were making the movie, and we just never bought another one. The actor who plays the Psycho Ape, he sat down one day on a log. We were filming out in the woods. The whole crotch ripped open, and you could see his shorts underneath, and it's just like, well, it. We only have the one costume. We're just going to continue filming. So there's a part in the movie where the whole crotch is just like blowing in the wind and you can see his shorts. We didn't have another suit, That was it. So that's the spirit of Psycho Ape, Just, do it yourself. Just make your own silly, stupid, independent movie. And, very much to our surprise, going to these horror conventions and selling copies, word eventually got back around to me that like, oh yeah, we dig this thing. It's really crazy,
Yeah.
But we raised $14,000 last summer to film part 2. So we have part 2 in the can. It's ready to go. Maybe like 2-3 more months, and people will be able to watch part 2. We actually, my partner Greg DeLiso, who I make these movies with, he does not live very far from here, which is nuts.
Oh yeah.
We actually filmed parts of part 2 like right down the street.
Oh no way.
As I was walking here, I was like, I know these gas stations because I filled up my gas tank while I was out here cruising around filming the movie.
Yeah.
That was wild. That was bizarre because we just filmed this back in August.
Yeah.
So. It's shot in 4K with double the budget of the first movie, but it's still at the end of the day just a really stupid killer gorilla movie.
Yeah.
He's on trial for the crimes that he committed in the first movie.
Oh my god, I love that. I love courtroom dramas.
It's a courtroom, it's a parody of courtroom drama. That's what it is.
I love that.
That's what I wanted to do because once we finished the first movie, I was just dumbfounded. Like, we don't have an idea for a sequel. Like this, I don't know what to do. Like we threw everything at the wall. We already did a bunch of parodies. What more can you possibly do? So my stipulation was, well, I want to start the movie out with a parody of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of guys in chimpanzee masks. They rob a 7-Eleven. They steal a bunch of bananas. It's all orchestrated. The Psycho Ape is like the Joker at the beginning of The Dark Knight. It's all super serious. People offing each other with Nerf guns. That's how the movie begins. But the ape gets apprehended, and he's on trial for his crimes, and they use this movie as evidence against him. So this movie exists as a movie in Psycho Ape 2, and they can point to it and say like, you did these things, like you're guilty.
That's so funny, dude.
So that's Psycho Ape 2, and it actually, because we shot it in 4K, it looks like a real movie, but on the inside, it still is just a bunch of people fucking around having a good time. Making a really dumb independent movie.
Yeah, no, that's fucking awesome, dude. I love that. I'm super excited to see it. I've seen some of like the different screen grabs and stuff you posted from like the stills and stuff, and
it look like a real movie?
It looks great, dude. It looks good. I'm excited.
We upped the ante, because again, I didn't want to make the same movie. I didn't want to just make a movie of a guy in a killer gorilla costume murdering 30 people with bananas. We did that. So if we're going to have double the budget, let's come out to LA, let's make a bigger movie, and let's just make it wilder and crazier.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scene towards the end where these characters in the movie, they actually like sell you like real merchandise. There's a whole like QVC style commercial scene, like in Spaceballs.
Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Spaceballs the t-shirt, Spaceballs the coloring book, Spaceballs the lunchbox, Spaceballs the breakfast cereal, Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one.
So it's very much like Spaceballs, where there's like, Spaceballs the flamethrower, Spaceballs the lunchbox. But we have Psycho Ape trading cards. Like these are real. These are real. I bring these to conventions with me and I sell them and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But they're cool too. It's not just like a crappy, just tie-in that's not gonna, be that impressive or anything. There are screenshots from the first movie with jokes and things at the bottom.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's like 34 cards in a deck. And when you flip them over, they form puzzles.
Oh, that's cool.
So it makes little puzzles and screenshots from the first movie, and you have to assemble them and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's very interactive, and we have this in a scene in part 2 where the characters are playing with Psycho Ape trading cards. We had a run of VHS tapes made last year.
Oh, okay.
There's this super cult label called Lunch Meat VHS, and they specialize in distributing, old and new, like cult horror movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And they reached out to me last year, and they did a run of 50 tapes, and it was really cool.
That's sick.
So in Psycho Ape 2, there are Psycho Ape 1 VHS tapes that the characters are trying to sell to you. There's trading cards. There's T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
These are all real things, though, that people can get. If they really like the movie enough, these... you can collect a bunch of cool stuff.
So cool.
Like, this is legitimate. This is real. This is real stuff.
How many like VHS tapes did they make of Psycho Ape?
We did a run of our own 2-3 years ago. We did 50. And that was it. Like, we just kind of, it was kind of a random thing. We didn't know that people would want more. So when Lunch Meat VHS reached out, they made 50 more.
Yeah.
And they did 25 where like the tape part was yellow and the top was black.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then they did 25 where the tape was black and the top was yellow. So if you're a hardcore fan, you could have got one of each. Or you just picked one that you wanted, So what's fun too is that I reached out to Lunch Meat and I asked them, we have part 2, and in part 2 they show these tapes. I know you already sold out. Want to make more, So when we come out with Psycho Ape 2, this company, they're going to put out 50 more Psycho Ape 1 tapes.
Hell yeah.
And they're going to distribute part 2 on VHS 2.
That'll be awesome.
So we're really, it's really neat. It's really cool. It feels really special. It feels really just like, oh my God, like people want to do this stuff. Like this is wild. Because again, at the end of the day, these movies are so crazy and cheap and bizarre. But the fact that, anybody cares, like outside of me and my friends, because it's wild. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, dude. That's fucking awesome though. I used to collect VHS tapes for a while, and then I ended up like leaving a bunch of them in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
But so that's really interesting to me. Like, I'm wondering, like, because they don't really, do they even really make blank VHS tapes anymore?
I think they do. But they're just like, it's like $40 for a 5-pack or something. You gotta get them on eBay or Amazon.
Yeah, because like I was wondering, like, how long, like, is there a company that's still making them? Like, because like how long will it last of like just being able to make physical media like that?
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of being able to have physical media of
absolutely.
movies and stuff.
That's why we make this stuff. Like Me too. I've got like 3,000 DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. You know, I stream movies too, but at the end of the day, it's like to have a tangible thing that you can pull off a shelf and show people. Like, look at this cool thing. You know, look at this thing I could collect.
Yeah, because like, what if like the internet like isn't a thing one you know, like for some reason, or like there's like I mean, if there's a power outage, you can't watch a movie on tape either. But like, if for some reason
movies
like
get pulled off of streaming services all the time. Psycho Ape is unrated, so if Amazon wanted, they could pull it whenever they want, you know, and just give us some bullshit reason. We actually we tried to submit it to Tubi. That's a free streaming service. But because
I know a lot about Tubi.
Oh really? Okay, cool. You watch a lot of crappy Tubi stuff.
I watch a lot of stuff on Tubi.
So we thought, why not us? But because we have inconsistent audio and stuff, the mix isn't perfect, and because it was shot on tape, you know, it's a little garish looking. It's not the best looking picture. They nixed it. So they kind of give you some bullet points as to things that you can fix, but it would require so much more work. And again, it's like we've already sold 1,000 copies of the DVD. Who cares? You know, we're not going to send out a new master like just for Tubi. It just there's no point.
Do you think Psycho Ape 2 will end up on Tubi at all?
That's the idea. I mean, that's why we wanted to shoot it in 4K. That's why we wanted it to sound better, look better. The idea is like, okay, if we put Psycho Ape 2 onto Tubi and Amazon Prime and all these other streaming services, people might retroactively look for one. You know? They'll search on Amazon Prime for part 1. They'll buy copies of part 1 on DVD from you. So, you know, that's the idea basically, because I didn't want to make the same movie twice. First one is VHS, $7,000. Second one is $14,000, super 4K in Hollywood. Like we shot it on the streets of LA, just running around. You know, we had a guy cradling like 30 bananas in a chimpanzee mask. Like, he was wearing like the Mr. Pink Reservoir Dogs kind of gear. Just booking down the streets. You know, right on Magnolia Boulevard.
That's so
sick. People had no idea what the hell we were doing. It was all hidden camera stuff. So these you know, this couple walking by, next thing they know, this guy is running down the street, just cradling 30 bananas. They're spilling off on the sidewalk in the grass. They don't know what's going on. They don't see the camera. This is just a random thing that they just witnessed. And then next thing we knew, like a semi-truck pulls over, they gather up a bunch of bananas, and they take off with our props, and it's like, what the hell? Now we gotta go to Ralph's again.
That's fucking funny.
I feel like you made both those the couple's day, watching and then that trucker's day, just stealing. Like, I don't have to get bananas now. I just found some on the street.
It's just like, those aren't for you. Those aren't free bananas. How dare you? You know?
Street bananas are a delicacy here in Los Angeles.
Well, also, would you trust them? I mean, I guess they were unpeeled. But again, see, the truck driver did not see the guy running. He just happened to drive by, see like a dozen bananas on the ground, and think to himself, those are mine now.
His wife is probably like, you better bring home bananas tonight or we're getting a divorce.
Or maybe he does it so often that it's just like, oh, God, more bananas?
More bananas.
Enough with the street bananas.
Shouldn't have married an ape. What was I thinking?
He's like, I finally came up in the world. You know?
He's just like, or you're always chastising me that I never come home with like food or dinner. I'm a terrible person. Well, here's a dozen bananas. Get off my back.
So funny. So when did you like, how old were you when you started like seeing like just like crazy B movies, or when did you get into B movies in general?
I mean, my whole life has just been watching movies, horror movies. My dad kind of raised me on like the old school Universal monster movies, you know, like Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, the classics. And eventually I graduated from there to like hardcore, like, well, I got not hardcore, but R-rated stuff like Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. And as you sort of make your way up the tiers of things, you sort of discover weirder things in the video store that are like in the cult section, because you've already blown through the horror. So it's like, okay, so what does cult mean? What is that? And so I started finding things like, you know, the Toxic Avenger. Have you ever heard of Toxic Avenger?
Yeah, I love Toxic Avenger so much.
So I used to work for Troma. I did some stuff for Troma. And I've actually, you know, I did a riffing show called Tremasterpiece Theater, and it's just like Mystery Science Theater, where you see the silhouettes at the bottom. We had puppets built, corny and reely, talking box of popcorn and talking film reel, cool little puppets. and we riffed on Lloyd Kaufman's first movie that he ever did, The Battle of Love's Return. That movie's terrible. There's no way you've seen Battle of Love's Return.
I interned for Troma when I was in college.
Did they make you watch it?
No, I watched it on my own accord.
Okay, I heard that it was like a hazing thing. That if you work for Troma, you have to watch it as like a hazing.
I mean, I didn't get paid. I was there for free doing shit.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I did it just because. But
so you've actually seen The Battle of Love's Return? Oh my god!
I've seen some weird Troma shit over the years.
I did not think that my trip out here this weekend, I'd meet another person who has seen The Battle of Love's Return.
It is nice to meet another fellow Troma veteran. Quite honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so you've interned for them. Yeah. I did like my show. And I would volunteer at like conventions and stuff. I was given allowance to sell copies of Masterpiece Theater. So I sold like 400 copies of The Battle of Love's Return riff, which is nuts. Like I introduced 400 new people to The Battle of Love's Return, like reluctantly. Here you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But that sold well, and Lloyd liked the episode. So then he gave me permission to do Poultrygeist. Have you seen Poultrygeist?
I haven't seen that, actually.
I recommend Poultrygeist. Yeah, Poultrygeist is an actual good one compared to Battle of Love's Return. See, with Troma, it pretty much goes like Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, Poultrygeist. Like those are kind of their main, and then Cannibal the Musical, which is an acquisition. Trey Parker and Matt Stone made that one way before South Park. Yeah, and so that one's a really good one, though. And
Spadoinkle Day.
Spadoinkle Day, yeah. Bloodsucking Freaks is kind of another classic that sells a lot of copies for them. But so while I was basically making this riffing show for Masterpiece Theater, instead of, just volunteering at horror conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just kind of learning how all this stuff kind of works, you know? You go out of town, you bring your merch, you sell stuff, pack up and come home. But eventually... that was also before Psycho Ape.
Yeah.
But I started meeting Troma alumni, people who worked on the movies, actors and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a double feature screening of a Troma film called Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD. You seen that one too? Okay, so that one I'm not as surprised about because that one's a more famous title.
It's probably like, for people who don't know Toxic Avenger, they know Sergeant Kabuki Man.
Well, it's like Batman. It's more PG-13, more kid-friendly, but there's still questionable things in there.
And that's the first time that they used the scene of that car crash that they continue to use in every movie after that.
Wow, man, you
I know my Troma.
You do know your Troma. Not everyone knows Troma, man. I didn't think I'd be having a conversation about Troma today. So they did a double feature of Kabuki Man and the first episode of Masterpiece Theater, The Battle of Love's Return.
Yeah.
That happened in New York, and one of the actors from Kabuki Man, the villain in the movie, he was in attendance, like at this double feature. And we were in pre-production of Psycho Ape. And we had this character of Dr. Zoomis, which is a parody of Dr. Loomis from Halloween.
Yeah.
So we offered him the role because he was basically like, hey, if you're back in the New York area anytime soon, let me know. I'd love to be in your movie, Psycho Ape. And so, he is the lead in our film.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, I just met him that day, at this screening. And so now he's like a popular character in our Psycho Ape franchise.
Yeah.
And then the lead actress, Kansas Bowling, she had just worked with Tarantino before we shot Psycho Ape because she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So she was telling us all about working with Brad Pitt. And there's even shots in the movie because she's in the scene when they go to Spawn Ranch. There's shots in the movie where you can see she's kind of in the background, a little out of focus, and Brad Pitt is front and center, but they share screen time.
Yeah.
And so she was telling us all about working with Tarantino and just went from Tarantino to Psycho Ape. How do you go from a $100 million movie for Sony to just a couple of guys with a mini DV camcorder?
Yeah.
Just we're gonna make this dumb monkey movie. Here's some money. Thanks for participating. But she has a movie that's in distribution through Troma called BC Butcher, and she made that when she was 16 years old, I think, and it got distributed when she was 18. So she makes movies herself.
Yeah.
But that's kind of another Troma connection.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Psycho Ape is sort of a culmination of years of working for Troma, meeting Troma alumni, and hiring them all to be in our movie. So it's just kind of cool. You know, if you're a fan of Troma, you could spot all these people. Like, oh, I know them from that. I know them from that. And then the humor is so lowbrow and stupid. And the effects are terrible. I mean, there's a scene in the movie where a character gets their head crushed by the Psycho Ape's sneakers. And it literally was just a melon that we carved out, threw some Caro syrup in there, dyed that all red. And so when that melon gets crushed, I mean, we added sound effects and screaming. It gets a reaction every time I see that movie in theaters. People go nuts. And it's like, you guys realize that you're just watching fruit get smashed, right? Like, that's all it is. You know, that's a cantaloupe rind. But because of the special effects, I mean, they're crappy. And the sound effects mixed all together, people erupt. It's insane, but it's awesome.
When did you make Magnum Opus? Like that?
Magnum Opus is kind of a culmination of like 15 to 20 years of footage, you know? I've always been a Jackass fan ever since like day one of its premiere, you know? And, you know, seeing Knoxville do the poo cocktail changed my life. Changed yours too. You know, so me and my buddies would always just film stuff. Not as gnarly as you know what I mean? You're up there. But we just always had a camcorder lying around. It was always daring each other to do stupid crap. You know, just who's the bravest or who's the dumbest, you know, who's going to do the thing. And so I had these tapes just kind of sitting around all this time, and I digitized them for the first time ever about 2-3 years ago. And I took these tapes, and I took out all the bits and pieces, like the stunts, the skits, the, you know, pranks and stuff, and I laid everything out in chronological order. So you see us when we're like 12, then we're 15, then we're 17, then we're 20, then we're like 21, and then we're 25. So it's been called Boyhood Meets Jackass, which is what I wish I thought of. So I would have put that on here. I would have put that on the front, you know, Boyhood Meets Jackass. That's what it is. Because you watch us kind of grow older, like as the film kind of progresses, because it's only an hour long. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, you know? Because I don't know how much people can tolerate something like that, where it's just, there's no voiceover, there's no, we don't do like any intros or anything like that. We don't say our names. It's nothing like that. But it is just like bit. I mean, in a 63-minute long movie, I mean, there's like 70 bits because they're so fast. So I would just go through these tapes and pluck something out. But also the quality of the footage gets better as the movie progresses, because every couple of years I'd get a new camera. So it'd be like VHS, then high 8, then mini DV, then 1080, and then like 4K. So the movie ends in 4K when it's like, wait a minute, I just saw at the beginning of this thing, you know, an hour ago, crappy VHS quality when these guys were like 12, and they're still doing this? You know, they're still like, on the back, this is my friend Bridget just eating a potato chip covered in Myrtle Beach sand. Like I paid her $20 to do that when we were on vacation, and I actually, it's absolutely disgusting, but I think it's the best part of the movie. You know, like, you know, I do some stuff in this movie too. I staple the webbing of my finger, you know, and pull it out with tweezers and stuff. But I think she kind of comes along and just steals the movie. And again, this footage was just sitting on tape somewhere. You know, it was never supposed to really be seen outside of my group of friends. And so, you know, I feel like the movie is a little incomplete because there's some bits that I had to, you know, some of my friends requested that I remove some of these things. Because, you know, now we're all in our 30s and stuff, and they don't want footage of them when we were younger, you know, behaving like juvenile delinquents. So I understand, but to me, it's like, okay, the movie's pretty good, but there's still stuff that's missing that maybe in 10, 20 years, I'll be able to put out like a director's cut, and I'll be able to talk to them like, hey man, like, come on, come on, you know, who cares? Because they're like teachers and stuff, or they work at, you know, corporate offices and things, and it's like, I don't know, man, do you think your bosses are going to come across this? Like, this is, and put 2 and 2 together? Like, I don't think so. But hey, who am I to, I don't know. I don't blame them. I really don't. It's okay. We didn't fight about it, but, you know, I do feel like there are pieces that are missing, you know, overall. Because it is my childhood, too. It's my youth kind of wrapped up in an hour-long movie of just, like, me and my friends a core unit of people for 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And some of these people have passed on since then, So my memories of them are stuck in a movie forever. And I can, show people this film and be like, hey, that's one of my friends. Like, he's no longer with us. But you get to experience what hanging out with him was like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's really special.
No, that is really special. I mean, like, those moments that you have with your friends doing, like, the stupidest things are, like, the things that you remember, like, forever.
Right. And most of the time that stuff isn't even documented. It's just kind of a memory in your brain. And as time goes on, you start misremembering how the certain scenario went down. But it's like, well, thank God we had video cameras. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all here. It's all captured on camera and like on Blu-ray of all things. And it's like, holy shit. And people like it too. People seem to dig it. I actually for my day job, I'm an Uber Eats Grubhub delivery driver. So I just drive around delivering food and stuff. But as I'm going around, I give copies of my movies to people just to like, you seem like you might like this, And then when I come back around to that restaurant like a week later, like, did you watch it? What do you think? And somebody recently, they told me that they liked this more than Jackass the movie. And it's like, okay, well, I think you're crazy. I thank you for the compliment, but you're nuts. The movie's
so
way
funny.
better than this.
That's so funny.
It's not the first time I've heard that because again, it's not super gnarly, It's not like, people, I don't know, just getting blown away. There's no nudity or anything. And so people kind of like it for its like teenage innocence, I guess. The charm of just like being a kid and doing dumb things with your friends instead of just like, ready to die bits. Of people just getting their teeth yanked out or Steve-O shoving stuff up his butt, There's nothing like that. But, I think people respond to the nostalgia factor of like, I remember what 2006 was like. That's what it was like. People had, or 2008, people had posters of The Dark Knight on their teenage bedroom walls and stuff. Yeah. If you're a film nerd. But, so it's kind of cool when people tell me that, like, I like that more than Jackass. And it's like, well, that's a good compliment. Thank you. I disagree, but thank you,
Oh, that's fucking awesome, dude. So is there going to be a premiere for Psycho Ape 2?
There'll be several. My plan basically is when the sequel is done, I want to take them on tour together because both movies.
Oh, that'll be sick.
Yeah. They only run about 60-some minutes long each. The first one is 64.
Yeah.
So for part 2, as a joke, we wanted to add 2 more minutes because it's the sequel. It's part 2.
Yeah.
He liked that one. That's my yes. But when you combine them, that makes 130 minutes. Yeah. So that's a 2-hour and 10-minute long time slot. So I book a movie theater. I only really need 2.5 hours because maybe I could do a Q&A at the end.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to, I wouldn't be charged for a full 3 hours or a full evening of, theater rental.
Yeah.
And so I can show both movies back to back, one after the other, maybe a little bit of intermission in between. But so my plan basically is to do some in Michigan. I want to rent out Kevin Smith's movie theater out in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Smodcastle.
Smodcastle.
That's my home, baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, cool. Have you been in the Smodcastle?
I moved away before he opened it, but I used to go to the secret stash.
Yeah, because it's only been open for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
He bought it during the pandemic, I think, and he
it
reopened
looks gorgeous,
it.
Honestly.
Well,
my brother goes all the time. He said it's amazing.
That's cool. I've seen that they've done like Terrifier 1 and 2, double features and stuff. But I've never been there, so
that's like the perfect venue for this.
I figured,
honestly. That's a great
they seem to
idea.
give independent filmmakers somewhat of a discount.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's just like, well, we're up and comers, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Thank you, and Kevin Smith knows,
Yeah, he definitely knows. Yeah,
he knows. He knows what it's like.
Yeah.
So I want to have a premiere at Smodcastle. I want to take it to Chicago. I want to take it to New York. I want to bring it out here to LA and do a premiere out here because it's where it was filmed.
Yeah.
So basically, I've been cold calling movie theaters just to see like, what are your rates? How much time do I get?
Yeah.
And most it's only like $400 to $500. It's really not that big. It's not that bad at all.
Yeah.
So I want to hit up these big cities and have a Psycho Ape 1 and 2 double feature. I'm calling it the Second Banana Tour. And I'm going to be touring this summer, hopefully. It's just a matter of getting part 2 in the can, done, and ready to go. So, that's the idea.
Hell yeah. No, that'll be sick. I can't wait to go to one of the screenings.
That'd be awesome.
That'll be sick, dude. Yeah.
You show up to a Psycho Ape 1 and 2 double feature, like, holy shit.
I'm super down. That would be sick, dude. What's what's one of your favorite just B movies or like shitty movies or?
There's a lot. Mystery Science Theater is like my favorite show. So I like a lot of the movies that they've done, like Werewolf. I don't know if you've seen too many Mystery Science Theater episodes.
I have seen. I've seen like a lot of stuff. I've seen some of that stuff. I've seen some different riff track stuff.
Okay, riff tracks.
I've seen.
It's those dumpster fires.
What was that one? It's like Ice Cream Man. Or
Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard.
Yeah, that one's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other ones.
I've been to a convention where he was at, and he still has that giant ice cream cone with the severed head in it. Yeah. He still has that as a prop, and he does you can take your picture with Clint Howard.
Yeah,
and he poses with that thing. He walks around, and if you didn't know what that's from, you'd just be like, what the fuck is that severed head and like a giant ice cream cone? It's cool though.
Yeah, no, it's super cool.
That's not like the weirdest thing you would see at a horror convention.
No, I've seen weirder. I've seen weirder stuff, but that's definitely the top of the list of, I guess, cool. It's a cool, weird thing,
I'm trying to think what other weird movies I've seen.
Yeah, let's hear you rattle some off. I want to hear some.
I've seen it was like Birdemic and all that stuff.
There's like The Room. Have you seen The Room?
I have seen The Room like multiple times.
Tommy Wiseau just released a new movie a couple months ago called Big Shark.
Okay.
And I don't know, man. Like it's not as bad as The Room. Like
he's gotten better over time at making movies.
Somehow, like maybe more technically efficient. But at the same time, it was dull as hell. Because it's like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be like a rowdy midnight movie, and it wasn't that at all. It was just kind of boring, I don't see a cult status like happening for that movie.
Yeah, I remember like a while back I was seeing like some articles saying that they were remaking Toxic Avenger.
Legendary Pictures did a remake of that, but I'm not quite sure what the holdup is,
or like if they're ever gonna release it.
It's shot. It's test. They've had test screenings.
Who played Toxic Avenger?
Peter Dinklage
in
the new one.
Yeah. See, they have him in the movie, and he's the one I think who falls into a barrel of toxic waste. But instead of like transforming into a hideously deformed big creature, they keep him small. And so it's like a little Toxic Avenger this time, going around tearing people's arms off and stuff. Because I've seen a trailer for it, and it's like, I don't know, I don't know if I like Tiny Toxie.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, Kevin Bacon is in it. Elijah Wood is in it.
Those photos of Elijah Wood as the bad guy, I did not know that was Elijah Wood.
Yeah. He looks very
ridiculous.
Like penguin-y.
Penguin-y,
Danny DeVito as the penguin.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see it regardless.
I'm going to see it anyway. I used to watch the cartoon, The Toxic Crusaders, like Saturday mornings. I loved it. And it wasn't until years later that when I was grown up.
You put two and two together and you realize, this is like an unrated franchise,
It's amazing. I was working with them. I was interning around the time Citizen Toxie came out.
That's one of my favorites, man.
So good.
If you haven't seen, have you seen Citizen Toxie, the fourth Toxic Avenger movie?
I feel like I have. I've seen a lot. It's
easily the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's people like getting flipped upside down and dropped on the ground. Their head like goes through their body, comes out their ass, shit sprays everywhere. It's hilarious, but it's so crazy. It's like, who thought of this? And like the fact they committed it to film too is just like, this is a gnarly, crazy movie.
This isn't even like a full feature, but have you ever seen Treevenge?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it though. I've seen clips. It looks cool.
It's really good, actually. It's not even bad. It's actually really good.
No. It doesn't have to be bad. Yeah.
No, it's actually really good. It's like I guess Treevenge, it's like Christmas and then like all the tree.
Yeah, the killer Christmas trees.
Yeah, the killer Christmas trees. Like they end up fighting back pretty much and killing everyone. It's pretty sick. Like you should watch that. I saw it on. I probably watched the whole thing on YouTube. I think someone uploaded like
It's 16 minutes.
Yeah, it's short enough that it can be on YouTube.
Yeah.
What about like Jack Frost, the mutant killer snowman?
Yeah, I've seen that.
The Leprechaun movies, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen Leprechauns like in the hood. Like,
my favorite's part 3 when he goes to Vegas.
Oh
Vegas
yeah,
is good, but
I've
when
not
he
seen
goes
the
Back
Vegas
to the
one.
Hood. Back to the Hood is the best Leprechaun movie, hands down.
Okay.
They've done more since then too. Yeah. I mean, they did a reboot. They've done 2 reboots actually.
They have?
But they don't have Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
So they're not quite as good. Like they did Leprechaun Origins, where they stripped it down. He's not even like a rhyming leprechaun anymore.
Yeah.
It's like a golem type mutant thing. It's terrible. It's awful.
Weird.
And then they did Leprechaun Returns, which is like a direct sequel to the first one.
Yeah.
Just no Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But it takes place in the same town. He's released from the well. The Ozzy character from the first movie, he comes back.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm no Warwick Davis, so it's not quite as good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. What else do I don't know.
Because you said you Tubi surf.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of stuff on Tubi. This is not good. I cannot think of shit right now.
That's okay. A lot of these titles blend together. You know, you can't really remember them, and even if you commit to the whole, I mean, it's a lot to commit to because a lot of these things are made in a shoestring budget, and then they just get uploaded to Tubi.
There was this one that was like
it
was like Christmas and like. It was like a shark movie, like around Christmas. Like,
Santa Jaws?
Yeah, it was like something like that. Yeah.
If that does not exist, it
No, it does.
It does.
Santa Jaws is a real movie.
Yeah.
It's probably the one you're thinking
Santa
of.
Jaws, 2018.
Yes.
That's
that is it.
That's
I remember watching that. Like, this movie actually isn't that bad, but, like, it's, I think there's a riff tracks of it. Have you seen Riccio?
Yeah.
Yes.
That movie is just insane.
It's awesome.
It's like such a fever dream of a movie.
It's like, it's great practical effects.
Oh, yeah, the practical effects are amazing.
Just gone haywire.
Oh, yeah. I love like sending gifs from that movie just to people out of context.
The guy getting the uppercut through the chin, face exploding. Yeah, that's a cool one.
That shit's crazy. So what do you think? Like, what do you want to make next?
Well, I mean, first we have to do kind of the Psycho Ape 1 and 2 tour. That's kind of like the goal for this summer is to get that going. But I have this script that I've written for a Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
And I did raise some money for it, but it wasn't much.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of, if I want to make that, I'm going to have to probably dig into my own pockets and use my own money to make this thing.
Yeah.
Which is fine, you know.
Yeah.
But it's called The Cult of Frankenstein, where it's going to be about like this cults that are obsessed with the Frankenstein monster. And it's kind of like a Manson family type cult living out in the woods.
Yeah.
They are like gathering body parts and stuff, you know, killing people and stealing their, body, their arms, their limbs. And the whole thing is run by like a Charles Manson type character.
Yeah.
But it's a comedy though. It is like, I could never make like a serious horror film. It would have to be. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
And so they eventually stitch together their own Frankenstein creation who kind of comes to life and, wreaks havoc like on the cult themselves who brought him to life. But then he takes off in the woods and we kind of cut to in modern times. There's like a modern great grand descendant of like the original Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I want to have that character played by Bill Whedon, who was Dr. Zoomis in Psycho Ape. And he'll just be kind of a buffoon type mad scientist. Waltzing with the cadavers and stuff and the skeletons and things, mixing experiments together for no reason. Like there's no point to them. He's not doing it. Just beakers that are foaming over. That's an experiment. But he's been secretly kind of creating this Frankenstein army like under everyone's nose, and he's been pitting them against each other because I want to do kind of a parody of Django Unchained, where you know how they have like the Mandingo fights in that movie, instead of Calvin Candy, shepherding these Mandingo fights. He is going to be charging people to watch these Frankenstein fights. So I want to have like, a dozen Frankenstein monsters just beating the hell out of each other. Like that, and sort of like a Godzilla type movie where it's just like rubber monsters kicking the shit out of each other, ripping each other's arms off. And then the Frankenstein from the first half of the movie kind of discovers what's been going on.
Yeah.
Grows a moral compass and just destroys the whole Frankenstein castle.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a, it is going to be a little bit bigger than, Psycho Ape just like fucking around outside, running around guy in a, crappy gorilla costume. But I do have like a dozen Frankenstein costumes and masks. I do have a bunch of Frankenstein props and memorabilia. And now it's kind of just like assembling a cast and finding locations and stuff. But I mean, I have this very detailed outline that I've sent to people to ask them, like, what do you think? Would you be in this? Give me some input. Let's figure out how to make this movie. So, it's just a matter of doing it, of executing it and like getting some money together to just go and do it. But that'll be, I guess, I'm hoping my next film is the Cult of Frankenstein. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Oh, that's sick, dude. No, I'm excited to see that too. I want to see that. I remember seeing you post something about the Frankenstein stuff. Like when
it was probably like pictures of the masks. And stuff. Because I've gotten, like I said, I combed through Trick or Treat Studios and Amazon, and I've bought pretty much every Frankenstein mask that's available on the market, which range from like $75 like top quality rubber masks to absolute slip-on like garbage that came from Japan. That it's basically like a sock that you put on your head, and the thing stretches, and it's just like a Frankenstein face that was painted on a sock. It looks terrible, but I bought it. So it's like, okay, well, we're gonna have really good monsters and really bad ones because it's gonna show growth. You don't start out making the best Frankenstein monster. This mad scientist has been at it for a while, so his early creations are going to look like hell. But that's the point. And then those ones will get picked off early. They won't last in the UFC monster battle fights. They'll be axed pretty early on. But that's the idea, is to have a a wide range of different kinds, because if you go to like a Spirit Halloween or something, they always have they have a variety of monsters. Over time, there's been so many different Frankenstein movies that they all look different. So I think it'd be cool to have a little bit of flavor, you know what I mean? And they're all just going to be beating the hell out of each other. I want to have like, geysers of blood, sort of like in like, Monty Python, the Holy Grail, and the Black Knight is being cut up and it's just like spraying blood, all, comedically. That's the kind of movie I want to make, The gore is like, comedy. This isn't a horror movie. It's it's not scary. It's no. This is stupid. This is cheap. These are rubber monsters, and I just want to fill the movie with all kinds of neat practical effects and gore and stuff. Oh yeah,
no, that sounds really cool, dude. Well, have you speaking of Frankenstein stuff in general, have you seen Lisa Frankenstein?
I haven't yet.
Dude, it was really good.
Was it cool?
It was actually really cool.
I want to see it.
Yeah, it was actually really cool.
It wasn't in theaters very long. I didn't get a chance to.
I go to the theaters like all the fucking time. Like, so I have that AMC like pass thing where you can like go like 3 times a week. And I fucking do that where sometimes I will actually get 3 times a week. So.
I mean, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I used to do that, but I've been working so much and like out of town so much with my own movie stuff that I've kind of fallen behind on watching movies. I mean, before coming here, I literally saw Godzilla, X Kong, New Empire, which was awesome. It's a cool movie.
No, it was fun.
But I haven't been going to the movies as much as I used to. I miss going to the movies that much, 3 times a week. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to do that lately. There was like a good 2 weeks where I was doing it, and then like.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Just in general, not. I mean, there's so many You
could break it down by genre too. Sometimes that tricks people because it's like, I'll ask people and they're like, horror, comedy, action.
I mean,
it's hard to pick maybe one specific movie that you love.
Recently, going to theaters, one
just
of the
overall. No, do you have a go-to comfort movie that you're just like, no, if that's on, I'm gonna watch
movie, it. Probably I don't know. I really like Goodfellas.
Classic. Yeah.
Superbad's up there too. Okay. Honestly, all the Apatow universe is definitely. Up there for
40-Year-Old Virgin, Funny People.
Yeah, all that stuff. Forgetting Sarah Marshall and stuff. Then also The Breakfast Club is one of them for me. I like The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that's a good one too. John Hughes type stuff.
The John Hughes stuff.
Like planes, trains, and automobiles.
Some of it hasn't really aged well.
Unfortunately, no.
Some of it, like, not at all. Like, if you try watching 16 Candles, I was like, dude, I don't want to watch this.
This is total cringe.
Yeah.
This would not be made now.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, and it definitely wouldn't get a PG rating.
Yeah, no, not at all. Dude, Weird Science is so ridiculous, too. I don't know. What else?
What about horror? Do you have a favorite horror movie?
Like, I love Scream. I really like slashers, like, in general. Scream, the whole Scream franchise. Huge fan of that. I also...
Are you all caught up? Have you seen all... Where are we at? 6 now, I think?
Yeah, I feel like they're having
pre-production
problems with a new one, because...
everybody keeps leaving.
Everyone keeps leaving, which I understand. Honestly, they should just, like... They don't have to continue with the same cast. Like, just start it over again.
Well, I think Neve Campbell is coming back for sure.
Yeah. Bring back the OGs, but, like, we can start over with the new people.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I was pretty disappointed when they killed off Dewey. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah, same.
He was my favorite character of all the movies.
Yeah.
And it was basically like...
I was going to say, he should have died, like, ages ago.
I know.
He almost dies in every movie.
Yeah.
By which one was it? It was 5, I think they killed him in, right?
Yeah.
He was just, like, limping. He had his arm, like, stuck in place.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and you're going to kill him now?
Yeah.
But just let the poor guy die.
He made it this far,
he's been through
and
enough.
he's limping through this sequel.
Yeah.
Let him live. Come
Meanwhile,
on.
Gail Weathers is like, I'm great. I just had plastic surgery.
Throw her through glass, like, window panes and stuff, and she's totally
so
fine. You can't kill off Gail Weathers. You know, leave Courtney Cox alone,
strong,
but...
dude.
Yeah, no, she's powerhouse.
But like, okay, I really liked Thanksgiving like a lot. Thanksgiving was great.
Thanksgiving was awesome.
Also just other like.
Are you an Eli Roth fan? Have you seen a bunch of his movies?
Honestly, I don't know if I have.
Cabin Fever, Hostel 1 and 2.
Okay, I have seen Hostel 2.
Not the first one.
Not the first one.
Oh, you're missing one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like Hostel 2 more than the first one.
Yeah.
So it's really like, okay, you've seen the better of the two, in my opinion. I don't know. There's something about like that switch at the end when you're following those two businessmen, and you think the one guy is like the evil guy who's totally into the torture. And his meek friend is the one who ends up being the badass.
Yeah.
Like, that's a total switch, and that's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. Another one that I really like. You ever see Cabin in the Woods?
Yes.
I fucking love how ridiculous that movie is. That one's so fun.
Yeah.
That's
very
a fun
meta.
one. Yeah, very meta.
Very strange.
Yeah, no, that was a fun watch. Also just like newer horror stuff too. I liked Talk to Me was really good. I liked that a lot.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I heard it was really good.
Yeah, you should check that out. They're making a sequel to that. I'm not sure in what way, but that's going to be cool. Because those guys started off as YouTubers and then made that movie.
Okay,
and,
did they make horror shorts for YouTube and then kind of grow from there?
They were like making like wrestling, like Jackass style stuff, and then they made that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an interesting trajectory, but I mean,
They're and just like little and like comedy stuff. Like they had this thing where like Ronald McDonald's like a wrestler.
I have seen that. That was huge, actually.
Yeah, that was like a thing.
Wow,
that was them.
Ronald
they
McDonald
transitioned from that. And I think
horror.
I think I heard they're making like the Street Fighter movie too now.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing either. And I could be wrong, but I heard that. I just heard that they're revamping Scary Movie.
I didn't hear that one yet.
It just got posted today.
I mean, literally today.
Yeah,
literally.
I already just messaged I messaged this talent manager. I was like,
"Give me
if you don't find one fucking thing I can audition for, I'm gonna freak the fuck out."
If you don't get to audition for the new Scary Movie, I will freak out too.
What? Who's the talent behind it? The writers and stuff.
I forgot exactly.
Was that announced?
Yeah, that was. I was already stalking social medias and stuff.
Because I mean, that franchise kind of switched hands. Halfway through, where it went from like the Wayans to the Zucker brothers.
Yeah,
and then they just ran it into the ground. Like they just got worse as that thing.
I think I need to make some sort of like. I think I should make some sort of my own like short horror comedy stuff to put on social media.
Yeah,
to show that I can do stuff. That I can do some acting stuff in that realm. They're not filming that shit till till fall.
We got time. Also, have you seen Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie?
Yeah, they're part of like.
That's why I was gonna say. Make sure you compliment how much you like Sonic the Hedgehog, so they.
So
I love the Sonic the Hedgehog. I never have said anything bad about Sonic in my life.
Zach wasn't even one of those people who complained how he looked during the first trailer.
Yeah, the Super Mario movie was not as good as. Actually, that's true. The Super Mario movie
was terrible.
Yeah,
was like
that's a little extreme.
It wasn't terrible. It was okay.
It was okay,
but like I wanted like some depth to the characters, and there was none.
Well, you're a fool. It's a video game movie. What are you asking for,
dude? I wanted like hear like I don't know, dude. I wanted something.
It was all.
It was very like surface level Mario.
It was eye candy. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't. It's for children. But yeah, they didn't really explore too much.
Dude, Sonic, dude, like there was depth.
2 bangers back to back.
Bangers.
That's a double feature.
TV show. Yeah. That TV show is also going to be.
Sonic 3 is coming out, man. You better plug that one too.
And Knuckles, you got to watch the Knuckles TV show, man.
Oh man, they're really mining the depths of the Sonic franchise, the IP.
Yeah.
The Sonic IP is going deep.
Yeah, I'm all about IPs, you know.
But specifically Sonic IPs.
Yeah. So. Anyways, dude, but thank you, dude, so much for coming to the pod.
Hey, thanks for inviting me, dude.
Yeah, man.
This is awesome.
This has been really fun. Yeah, I'm super stoked to see Psycho Ape 2.
I'll send you. I can send you a screener link.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Ask everyone that comes on this podcast this question: is there anything that you do every day to make sure you're reaching your maximum potential?
Oh, I try. I definitely try. You know, like I said, I do my Uber Eats stuff. I put in 12-hour days doing that so that I can afford to do things like this.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm on a 5-day vacation here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's going to be a hell of a vacation.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And, you know, I was just in Ohio last weekend at a horror con.
Yeah.
Selling stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like the week before that, I was in Chicago, you know, selling stuff. Actually, I met Bam Margera.
Yeah.
And he was there selling or signing stuff. So I got a selfie with him. And he signed all of like Ming Hags and Haggard.
Oh, that's so sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, Haggard is such like an awesome movie. I love Haggard so much.
It's not. It's not in print anymore. You can't find that thing.
It has the best like DVD menu music choices. I feel like for any DVD
too. I mean, the bonus features.
Oh yeah, like I would literally fall asleep. I watch that movie, then I'd let the DVD because some DVD menus are annoying as.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like 30 seconds of an endless loop of shut the fuck up.
Then that was like, it would play all these like good songs. So I'm like, dude, this is chill. I would just have it as my like background music.
Yeah. While you're
just doing whatever.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Your lo-fi beats to do shit too.
Yeah, no, they fucking did that.
Instead of a mix like CD, you could just put on the Haggard DVD.
Yeah, and then eventually hit play and like. It was either that. One time I had a DVD player that just had the movie Bloodsport stuck in it.
No.
And I would just watch Bloodsport all the time.
Come out.
Yeah, it would not come out.
It was the official Bloodsport DVD player. Yeah. That's cool.
Oh, man. But,
yeah, like, you know, that's what I do, man. I make these movies. I go out of town. I go to conventions. I sell this stuff. And, you know, I'm trying to, you know, maximize my time working during the week, scrape up some money so that I can go do these conventions or come to California. Yeah. You know, this is my passion. This is my favorite stuff. I want to make movies. I want to make art. Yeah. And so, you know, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about some of this stuff.
Thank you for coming, dude.
Thank you for being a fan. You know, I was a fan first, and it's like, wow, dude, like seal of approval. You know,
yeah,
fucking rad.
Well. Thanks everyone for watching this episode. Thank you so much for coming, dude. Check out Psycho Ape, and you know Psycho Ape 2 is going to be out soon too. Yep. Check out Magnum Opus. And thanks for watching. Stay maximum.
And we are out.
Hell yeah.